There's only 4 Grand Prix to choose from in the history of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but despite that, I'm going to do my best to go over 5 of the most iconic moments from this Grand Prix over the years. It joined the calendar in 2021, it's been run at the Jeddah Corniche circuit every single season since then, and there's been some very dramatic moments, particularly with title battles, and that's what the first one of these is going to go through. 2021, it was the penultimate round of the championship that year. Max Verstappen against Sir Lewis Hamilton for the F1 World Championship. Verstappen was ahead coming into this round, and realistically, Hamilton had to win it no matter what to get through to Abu Dhabi with a realistic chance of winning the title, and win it he did. But oh my word, the path to getting there was incredible. The battle between these two was absolutely epic. Verstappen typically getting the elbows out, forcing Hamilton wide, making it difficult for him to overtake. And in fact, they did push it too far, and he was ordered, well, suggested by the stewards, it should say, to actually let Hamilton go back through. But he was trying to do it in a way that would actually not ruin his chances of retaking the lead. He did it in a way where he wanted to let Hamilton go past before the DRS detection line coming up to the final corner. Hamilton didn't expect this, slammed into the back of him, damaged his front wing. Eventually Hamilton would get back past, he would be allowed through by Max Verstappen on the following lap, but it was an epic battle between the two of them, huge controversy, and it also set us up for an incredible thriller in Abu Dhabi for the final race of the season between these two, going in on level points. I think it was the first time since 1973 where a championship decider was actually decided with the final race, where they were both coming into that one on level points. And we all know what happened in Abu Dhabi. We're not going to talk about that on here though. That's a video for another day, if ever. I don't want to ignite that in the comments, but also in 2021, I want to highlight Valtteri Bottas as well, who did a superb job in getting Mercedes their Constructors' crown. I think this might have actually won the Constructors' crown for Mercedes during this race, because he got 3rd place on the line, literally on the line. Esteban Ocon, I mean, I criticise Ocon a lot, you guys know that, but he was having a superb race in Abu Dhabi and in Saudi Arabia in 2021. Almost got a podium for Alpine, just missed out on the end. Bottas powering through to get that 3rd place literally on the line by like a 10th of a second. It actually mirrored what Bottas did in 2017 in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where he took 3rd place on the line from Lance Stroll, as it were, or took 2nd place from him. Anyway, it was a high place he took. It was a while ago. I've just thought of that on the fly. But the third moment, another championship battle, this time at the start of the season. Saudi Arabia moved from being one of the final rounds of the calendar to being one of the first in 2022. In 2022, at the start of that season, it seemed as though we were going to get an epic title battle between Charles Leclerc of Ferrari and Max Verstappen of Red Bull. Max would eventually romp to the title, he would just absolutely get clear, but in these early stages of this season, where Red Bull was pretty unreliable, retiring from the Bahrain and Australian Grand Prix earlier in the season, in terms of actual race performance, it was very close between these two. Charles Leclerc was keeping ahead of Max Verstappen through the vast majority of the race. There was some real tactics, again, a bit like Verstappen and Hamilton a year prior. And if you go further back, Hamilton and Alonso in Canada 2013, I want to say, neither wanted to give up the DRS going through the final corner, so they both broke to the point where they actually locked up and were slowing to a crawl just to avoid giving the other one DRS. It was brilliant tactics from the both of them. It was incredible to witness. I do implore you, go and watch that very underrated battle between those two. And one of the few instances where we had a really good battle for the championship and a battle for the actual win in this season, because Max Verstappen eventually would absolutely just fly out of the blocks and dominate that championship. It was a similar story in 2023 in a sense as well, for Verstappen absolutely dominating the championship, but this was one of the few races that he didn't win. And the reason why was because he made a key mistake in qualifying in Q3. He slammed into the wall in the final corner, and unfortunately he qualified in P10 because of that. Sergio Perez managed to win the race eventually from pole position, did a good job there. And again, in the early stages of this championship, Perez and Verstappen were swapping wins. It wasn't very clear who would actually come out on top in this. Of course, the smart money was on Verstappen, a double world champion, but in those early stages, Perez was putting up a good fight, to be fair, in that Red Bull. It's only as the season went on that he eventually faded away. And yeah, let's not talk about 2024 for him either. But the final one I want to highlight is from 2024, the final one of these 5 moments, and that is Ollie Bearman. We can't talk about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and not talk about Ollie Bearman. Super subbing in. Nico Hulkenberg would have been proud of that performance. Super subbing in for Carlos Sainz, who had to have his appendix removed. He had appendicitis. Sainz basically hobbling into the garage on race day, was not fit to race. Their young driver, 18 years young, Ollie Bearman, the 3rd youngest Formula 1 driver of all time, only Stroll and Verstappen younger than him. He managed to finish 7th on debut. I think he lined up in like P11, P12 as well, something like that. So he made up a few places through the Grand Prix. A really mature drive for such a young driver. And now we're seeing how good this kid is. You know, he's done really well at Haas in his kind of 2-off performance that he had in 2024 in Azerbaijan and Brazil. And now he's a full-time driver for Haas, and really he is the future of that team at Ferrari. You know, one day, if, you know, when Sir Lewis moves on, or when maybe Charles Leclerc moves on, they've got a ready-made replacement right there in Ollie Bearman. His drive from 20th to 10th in Bahrain was absolutely incredible, and he is a fantastic prospect for the future. Maybe a bit of British bias coming in there, who knows. But anyway, those are my 5 moments from 4 races in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. They are pretty, you know, important moments, pretty cool moments at the end of the day, you know, title battles, some really incredible tactics from those drivers. But yeah, what's your favorite moment from Saudi Arabia over the years in Formula 1? Let us know in the comments below, guys. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you soon for some more content just like this on the world of Formula 1.